Today, we're going to break down the really complex and honestly heartbreaking world of romance scams. This is a type of deception that doesn't prey on greed, it preys on one of our most basic human needs, the need for connection. And this quote, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? There's so much shame wrapped up in this topic. But the truth is, these scams are designed to exploit the very things that make us human, our ability to love, to trust, to have empathy. This isn't about being foolish, it's about being targeted. And the scale of this problem, it's just staggering, $1.3 billion. And that's just the reported loss in the United States back in 2022. The real number is for sure way, way higher, and that doesn't even begin to capture the emotional cost. So if we want to understand how to protect ourselves and the people we care about, we first have to get a really clear picture of what we're actually up against. What even defines a deceptive connection like this? Okay, so at its core, a romance scam has a few key ingredients. You've got fake identities, right? Then there's the careful, deliberate building of a relationship, and this is so crucial. This can take months, sometimes even years. And then, finally, the end game, manipulation to get money. It's basically a long con that's disguised as a love story. And here's the thing you have to understand. These scams are not random, not at all. They follow a very predictable, very repeatable formula. Scammers have a playbook, and they use it to systematically break down a person's emotional defenses. And that playbook unfolds in these three distinct stages. It always starts with idealization, then it moves into investment, and it all leads up to the crisis. So let's break down what's really happening in each of these phases. So phase 1, idealization. This is all about creating the perfect fantasy. The scammer's profile is meticulously crafted to be your ideal partner, and the attention they give you is, well, it's intoxicating. We're talking constant messages, good morning texts, remembering tiny details about you, sharing these vulnerable stories, all to create this feeling of deep, instant connection. It's designed to make you feel like you finally found your soulmate. From there, they move into the investment phase. This is where they set the emotional hook, and they set it deep. The scammer starts talking about a future together, planning visits that never happen, talking about marriage, building a whole life in your mind. They are patient. They are learning your hopes, your fears, your vulnerabilities, all to figure out which emotional buttons to push. The whole goal here is to make the relationship feel so real and so important that you become deeply, deeply invested in protecting it. And once that investment is locked in, the playbook makes its final turn, the crisis. All of a sudden, there's some urgent, terrible emergency. And notice this, the first request for money is often pretty small. It's a test, to see if you'll bite. Once you send money once, it becomes psychologically so much harder to say no the next time. They are exploiting this idea of escalating commitments, and they are always promising that this is the last time they'll ever ask for help. So we've seen the playbook, but the really big question is why? Why is it so incredibly effective? Well, the answer is all in the sophisticated psychology these scammers use to manipulate their targets. This isn't just a simple trick, it's a full-blown psychological operation. First, we have to just shatter some really harmful myths. The reality is there is no type of victim. They're doctors, teachers, surgeons, retirees. Scammers don't prey on stupidity, they prey on our shared humanity, that universal need we all have for connection. And you have to remember, these scammers are absolute professionals at manipulating human emotion. One of their main tools even has a name. It's called love bombing. We saw this back in the idealization phase. It's this overwhelming flood of affection and attention that's designed to make you emotionally dependent on them and to do it really, really fast. It basically short-circuits the natural, slow pace of getting to know someone and creates this intense, almost addictive bond. But what happens when the little red flags start to pop up? Because they always do. Well, this is where something called cognitive dissonance kicks in. Your brain is trying to hold two completely opposite ideas at once. This person is my soulmate, and something about this doesn't feel right. To get rid of that uncomfortable feeling, it's often easier to just explain away the red flags than to accept the devastating truth that the whole relationship is a lie. And here is a chilling dose of reality. The person on the other end of the line, it's rarely just one individual. These are often huge, organized crime operations with a slick business model running out of what are literally called fraud factories. The person a victim is falling in love with might actually be a whole team of scammers, working from scripts and juggling dozens of fake relationships at the exact same time. So, when you think about that industrial scale of deception, the fallout for victims is, as you can imagine, just completely devastating. The road to recovery is long, it's hard, and it involves healing from wounds that go so much deeper than just an empty bank account. The average financial loss per victim is over $15,000. But that's just the average. I mean, it is tragically common for people to lose their entire life savings, their retirement, everything, and go deep, deep into debt. But the emotional toll is almost always worse. Survivors often deal with symptoms that are consistent with post-traumatic stress disorder. The shame can be so powerful that they pull away from friends and family, which is the exact opposite of what they need to start healing. But recovery is possible. It absolutely is. And it starts with taking practical steps. Reporting the crime is so important, even if the money is gone. Finding a therapist who actually understands fraud trauma is critical. And connecting with other survivors and support groups can be a total lifeline because it breaks through that isolation and shame. It really is a process of grieving a relationship that felt real because the feelings for the victim were 100% real. So how do we navigate this digital world where we're all encouraged to connect, but deception is lurking around every corner? The goal can't be to just never trust anyone again. The goal has to be moving forward with wisdom, not with walls around our hearts. And that wisdom starts with learning to spot the patterns. A relationship that's moving at lightning speed, constant excuses why they can't video chat or meet in person, a job, on an oil rig or deployed in the military that just perfectly explains why they're so hard to reach. And of course, any request for money. But maybe the most important red flag of all is that last one. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. And this applies to how we help people too. If you're worried about a friend or a family member, coming at them with accusations and judgment will likely just make them shut down. The best way to help is with compassionate curiosity. Just ask gentle questions that help them arrive at the truth on their own, tapping into that gut instinct that they've probably been trying to silence. And that really brings us to the final central question here. This is the dilemma we all face, right? Romance scams work because our need for love and connection is so powerful. Protecting ourselves isn't about shutting that down. It's about understanding the tactics of those who want to exploit it so that we can engage with the world more wisely, with our eyes and our hearts wide open.